Striker Scorpion 82 is now sponsored by Warhammer Combat Cards, a card battle game featuring your favourite Citadel miniatures from the 40k universe. Free to download and play, link is in the video description below or on the channel homepage, and by using the unique link it helps support the channel. Thanks and enjoy the game. Right, welcome to this top 5 units video, continuing on with the series here, and it is the new Tau Codex. I've picked out 5 units that I think you should include in your Tau force. There's many contenders, do have to say that right from the very start. The Tau Codex has seen a massive jump in power for sure. A number of units are excellent and some other units that are very, very good as well. But I've tried to pick out my top 5. If you agree or disagree, or you've got your own ordering of units that you think are the best, then do leave that in the comments section below. So do expect a fair bit of discussion about this here. There's plenty of options to go for. Just before we get stuck into the top 5, you may get the urge to increase your Tau collection from watching this video. Check out goblingaming.com. Link for them in the video description below. They do discount 40k. That's about 20% off the standard price on average from them. Paints and accessories and so on. Other gaming systems also available from Goblin Gaming, and when you use the special link in the video description, it does help the channel in a small way. So for my Tau army, it's currently under development. I've taken my previous list, sort of broken it down in the light of the new rules and so on, and with a desire to try new stuff out. So my army is quite up in the air at the moment as to what I'm going to go for with the final list. I have already come up with a brand new list for them. That's over on the Plus channel in the Army Development video series. So there is a bit of a shake-up going on with that. Some units being dropped and trying to shift over towards more of a fluid type army that can move and manoeuvre quicker around the board. So departing even further away from gunline style and instead going for more of a sort of deep strike, ambush and then mobile units as well. So you'll see that reflected in the new list as it develops. But we'll go through my top 5 here, units that I think are very good. So I'll go for each 5, talk about why, and then you're welcome to leave your own comments and suggestions below. So number 5, we'll go in reverse order. So I'll leave the top one till last, and then we'll go in reverse order. So starting with number 5, it's heavy support. So I've used it once in a game, but I think the Riptide is obviously improved from the last codex for sure, and I think really with the bonuses that it's been given, especially to its firepower, I think it's a decent unit. So I'll put that in at number 5. It's the Riptide battlesuit. So it's a big unit, it's a tough unit. Plenty of wounds, and then we'll cover the firepower as well. So we'll run through the stats on this one. So movement 12, so it's one of those units that doesn't have to be a gunline unit. It's a unit that can move out, so this is what you want. It's a unit that can quite happily sit on top of an objective, and it's going to take a fair bit of effort to bring the thing down. Movement 12, it does degrade down with movement, so it drops to 8, and if it's got 1 to 4 wounds remaining, then it drops down to 4, so it does slow right up. Weapon skill 5+ as usual. Ballistic skill is affected as well, 4+, 5+, then 6+. Strength 6, toughness 7, so it's as tough as a tank. It's got 14 wounds, so a few more wounds than your average tank. 6 attacks, and it starts off on a 2-up armor save, so a pretty strong stat line. Give you an idea on points costs here, just to keep an idea of the cost of it. So 240 points. And then you're paying, it's 10 points if you take the Fusion Blaster, so you can take 2 of those, it'll be 20 points. The Iron Accelerator is 10 points if you take that main weapon option. You can take your drones, the shielded missile drones, and then there's a smart missile system option for 5 points as well. The shielded drones are 15 points a time. So, the standard loadout for it is the Heavy Burst Cannon. Range 36, heavy 12, strength 6, -2 and 2 damage. So you build these things depending on what you require in the army. If you've already got a lot of anti-tank stuff, then you could build it to maybe take out heavy infantry, in which case your heavy burst cannon would be a good option. One of the big improvements now for the Riptide, and Games Workshop are doing this across the board now with the new codex, is sort of taking away a lot of the random number of shots, like D6 shots. A lot of that's disappearing, and you're getting like a steady amount of shots coming through. So you'll see that with the Iron Accelerator when we come to that. But heavy 12 for the burst cannon, and then strength 6 minus 2 damage. It's a primary Space Marine killer, a nice lot of shots available from that. You're looking at 4+ ballistic skill, so I would say Markerlight help would be particularly helpful for this unit, giving them +1 to the hit rolls. Very, very useful indeed. The other option to help it out, which will help this unit out a little bit, and that's your choice of Sept. So I'm still advocating going for Tau Sept here. Each time a unit of this tenant is selected to shoot or fight, you can reroll 1 hit roll or wound roll. So very, very useful for like one-shot weapons, but a little bit of help there, getting a chance to reroll a hit roll or a wound with the Riptide. So that's the heavy burst cannon. My preference is the Iron Accelerator, and what just pushed this into the list here of the top 5 is the damage from overcharge on this. If you go to overcharge, your range 72, so fantastic range, heavy 6, strength 8 minus 3, and 4 damage, which is very, very good indeed. Unmodified hit rolls of 1. It is a mortal wound just for overcharging with that. The standard for that is same range, same heavy 6, strength 7 minus 3, and 3 damage. Is still potent enough, but I think damage 4 is excellent if you're up against Death Guard. It's still going to go for his damage 3, and so on. Plasma rifles are good, you can take those. Strength 8 minus 4, 3 damage. The smart missile system is an option, and it can fight in close combat. You've got +1 strength, so you're going to fight at strength 7, heavy minus 2, and 2 damage with the fists, and you actually get 6 attacks. There's a little bit of kickback in close combat now for this unit as well. So Games Workshop giving the Tau a little bit of close combat help. You got your upgrades that you can take. So we'll run through these. Here, so you've got the counter-fire defense system. Yeah, it's here. Counter-fire defense system. So you gain the keyword counter-fire defense system, and you get access to the stratagem here. Counter-fire defense system costs 1 or 2 CP. So use the stratagem in your opponent's shooting phase when an attack, so I take it it's a single attack, is allocated to a counter-fire defense system model from your army. The damage characteristic of that attack is changed to 1. If that model has a wounds characteristic of 14 or more, it costs 2 CP, but you can have some very, very high caliber weapon coming through and you can just negate it, and it's just a stratagem that's going to go through, so you can pick and choose when you want to use it. That is pretty good to try and stop the damage coming through against this thing. And the idea of one of these things, it's a bullet magnet. It's going to cause obviously more trouble the longer it lasts on the table. So if you can survive the initial turns your opponent's trying to bring it down, so any kind of stratagems like this to negate damage coming through will be exceptionally useful. So that one is certainly a good option to go for, the counter-fire defense system. You've got early warning override you can go for each time the bearer fires Overwatch. It's 5 pluses instead of 6s. And each time you use the fire Overwatch stratagem, it costs selective Overwatch reduce the CP costs by 1 to a minimum of 0, so it's going to cost you 0 CP to do that. Or you've got multi-tracker. Each time a ranged attack made by the bearer targets unit containing 6 or more models, so that could be combined if you're taking the heavy burst cannon. A modified roll of a 6 scores an additional hit, so popping extra hits. And target lock. Each time the bearer makes a ranged attack, the target does not receive the benefits of light cover, so you can scrub that. And then you've got the velocity tracker. Very, very useful. +1 to the hit roll if you're shooting at flying targets, which there are, if you think about it, there's a lot. It's not just flyers, you've got skimmers, jump infantry, and so on. It's anything with the fly keyword, you get +1 to the hit rolls. So worth going for that on one of these larger, more expensive units. So the model's heavy burst cannon can be replaced with one Iron Accelerator. I usually go for that. I think I would stick with that and have him as anti-tank, anti-monster, anti-heavy infantry. If you do want to help keep him alive, he's perfectly happy to sit at the back. It's a unit that can manoeuvre around your middle and back line, providing firepower, but staying out of some of the closer range firepower the opponent has, because the Iron Accelerator range 72, fantastic range on it. Then this model's 2 plasma rifles can be replaced with one of the following. So you can go for double fusion blaster or 2 smart missile systems. Again, depending on how you want to use them. If you want to go for long range firepower, and you go for your smart missile systems. If you are going to go in close and aggressive with them, then take the double fusion blaster. And the model can be equipped to up to 3 of the following. So very flexible in what you can take. Counter-fire defense system, early warning override, mulch tracker, target lock and velocity tracker. So up to 3 of those. So it can be very well equipped. Just going to remind us on the costs here. So you're not paying out for them, it's built into the price. The extras you're paying for is the fusion blasters, the ion accelerator upgrade, the drones, 15 points time, and the smart missile system. But to add on the extras, so to pick any 3 of those systems, it's not going to cost you anything in points. Absolutely fantastic. So I don't know what I'd go for, but there are plenty of options, all sorts of combos, and you can take up to 2 of the shielded missile drones, and they can help provide a little bit more firepower if their missile shots coming through, and then obviously the opportunity to add hits onto them. So he has a standard built-in 4+ invuln save on top of all of that, and then you get access to the Nova reactor here. And I like the way this works, the way they've changed it. In your command phase, if this unit's Riptide model, can use its Nova reactor. If it does, roll 2d6. If the result is greater than the remaining wounds, so say it's got 14 wounds left, then you don't even need to roll, because you can't lose there. It says if it does, roll 2d6. If the result is greater than the remaining wounds of this unit's model, its Nova reactor is burnt out and the ability cannot be used again this battle. So you just burn out, you don't take any damage, you just have to stop using it. But great. And then you've got 3 options. Again, versatility with this. You've got the Nova shield. So at the start of the next command phase, each time the model would lose a wound, you get a 5+ feel no pain. Amazing. Or you can boost. So in your next charge phase, this unit can make an all move up to 2d6. If it does, until the end of the phase, you cannot declare a charge of this unit. So if you need to get somewhere quick, which again for 9th edition you may well need to, then you've got that option. Or you can overcharge the weapon, in which case you get heavy 12 becomes heavy 16, and then you've also got heavy 8 there with the iron cannon, or iron accelerator. Fantastic. Damage 4, and you've got 8 shots coming through. Potential of popping 6s for extra hits if it's larger targets. So, bit of marker light help, stratagems. The stratagems, I'm not going through all of them here, but the stratagems you can add on to help. The other big thing to point out is it has the battlesuit keyword, which I believe this thing can, well, it's a vehicle anyway, so it can fire whilst it's in close combat. So, for example, you've moved out on your turn, you've fired a load of stuff, and then decided to charge a target. The opponent's then got a decision to make. They can stay in close combat. And usually that could pin a unit down. You're gonna have to back off and then wait a turn to fire again. But now with him being vehicle and battlesuit, when your turn comes back round, you can fire directly into close combat. And it's got the firepower to really cause trouble. So I do rate the Riptide. I was going to leave it out the top 5, but I put it in. I think it just is mightily improved, I think, from the last. It was good in the last codex, and it's obviously better now. I just think the rules for it are looking pretty strong. So I do rate the Riptide. So I put that in at number 5. So I do think it's most effective if you can get as many turns out of it as possible. You can just keep that gun firing turn after turn. Would be the best way to use the Riptide battlesuit, and to have something that's nice and tanky and that can stand its ground and survive. So those 2 things, survivability and firepower, I would say take the Riptide battlesuit all in, about between 300 and 350 odd points, depending on what upgrades you take. But for the damage it can do and the abilities that you're getting, I think it is worth the points. So we'll move on. Next up, number 4. So it's a unit that's not as powerful, but obviously a lot less in points, and a lot of people are rating these at the moment. So the broadsides, the broadside battle suits, again, it's a single unit option, but there's lots of combinations that you can go for with this one. So we're going to again get an idea on cost. Maybe you need heavy firepower support on your list, but you don't want to go down the Riptide route. Riptide's too expensive. You don't want a unit that's a lot of points invested in a single model. You want to spread out the value of what you're paying for. So broadsides here, they start at 75 points as opposed to 300 odd points for the Riptide. Oh sorry, 240 points plus upgrades. So yeah, no, if you add in all of your upgrades, Riptide is cheap. If I go double fusion blaster, that's 260, 270, and then yeah, if you take the 2 shielded missile drones, then it is 300 points. But that's with all of those upgrades. If you start leaving those off, then you're nicely under 300 there for the Riptide. So I think really it's a bargain with him. Broadsides then, 75 points a time. Your upgrades, if you take gun drones, for them it's 8 points. The high yield missile pod, 10 points each. Marker drones 10 points, missile drones 15 points, seeker missile 5 points, the shield drone 12 points, the twin plasma rifle is 10 points for the two, and the smart missile system, or the twin smart missile system, is 15 points, so that's both there at 15 points. So again, for about 100 points you're getting something that's well equipped. So number of improvements of this one: movement 5, weapon skill 4, 5 plus ballistic skill, 4 plus strength, 5 toughness 5. Here's the improvement: 8 wounds now on these things, so a nice number of wounds. The great advantage with the broadsides is there's no damage brackets of these, so if it's got 1 wound left, it's still going to have a 4 plus ballistic skill. That is excellent. Leadership 9, and they start on a 2-up save as well, which is very, very good indeed. So weapons have seen an improvement here. First up is the heavy rail rifle. So range 60, superb range, heavy 2, strength 9, so they've tipped the strength over to strength 9, so very useful against things like the Russes. AP minus 4, so it's going to glide, stuff without an invuln save, it's going to glide through the armour, and then a D3 plus 3 damage. So D6 damage now has been made nice and reliable. You're going to get between 4 and 6 damage each time. And every time you get a successful wound, you're going to cause a mortal wound on the target in addition to any other damage as well. So the potential of, once that shot makes it through, between 5 and 7 wounds per hit. So again, I'd stick with Tau. So heavy 2, a chance to reroll one of those, or if both hit, a chance to reroll one of the wounds with the heavy rail rifle. So the combination in the previous codex I like to go for was the high yield missile pod, just for the tons of shots. Range 30. I think they have cut the range on that down. I'm pretty sure it was range 36 in the previous codex. Heavy 4, which is the same as before, strength 7 minus 2 and 2 damage. A bit of extra AP minus going on there, which is good news. But if you're wanting to kill heavy infantry like primary Space Marines, then the high yield missile pods. And even with these, you can shred armour with the number of shots as well coming through. The seeker missiles improved. Don't think you need marker light help assistance anymore, but you just fire at normal ballistic skill, 1 shot only. Again, strength 9, very, very useful against toughness 8 targets. AP minus 3, 2d3 damage, so between 2 and 6 damage with that one. Plasma rifles, less shots now, not rapid fire anymore, but it's assault 2, strength 8 minus 4, 3 damage. The smart missile systems, range 30. Heavy 8, this is the twin version, strength 5 minus 1, 1 damage. And you can fire at stuff you can't see, and you negate light cover. So the options are, so any number of battle suits can have the heavy rail rifle replaced with 2 high yield missile pods. So again, depends on what you want it for. My choice of the 2, as far as value and effectiveness, would now switch over to the heavy rail rifle. It's a nasty weapon against armoured and heavy targets and monsters and so on. So I'm liking the heavy rail rifle. I would probably combine that and take the smart missile system is very, very useful, being able to pick on targets you can't see, and ignoring light cover, a real bane against infantry. So maybe probably go for that as opposed to the twin missile rifle or twin plasma rifle. So that's your options. You can be equipped with up to 2 of the following. So you can take 2 of these. One advanced targeted system, early warning override, multi-tracker, seeker missile. It does take up one of the slots here. So if you do take the seeker missile, which I usually do, you lose one of the war gear options here. Stabilized optics, the twin plasma rifle, the twin smart missile system, and the velocity tracker. So if you do take the missiles on top of the plasma rifle, you're going to use up another slot. So you've actually got no options to take any of these other war gear pieces across here. So a little bit restricted in that regard. It does have the battlesuit keywords. It can fire whilst it's in close combat on its turn. So if you don't take the seeker missile or the extra weaponry, then you can gain access to these here. So advanced targeting system. Each time the bearer makes a ranged attack, a modified hit roll of a 6 auto wounds the target. So yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, pretty good. Probably work better on the multiple shot weapons such as the KOYO missile pod and twin smart missile systems. You've got early warning overrides. That's your 5+ Overwatch. The multi-tracker, that's 6 normal models, 6 is pop extra hits. Now the stabilized optics. So the bearer doesn't suffer the penalty to hit rolls for moving and firing heavy weapons. Yeah. Or if they're firing whilst engagement range, there's no -1 either. And you've also got velocity tracker, +1 to the hit rolls. So my current combination for these is a little bit of heavy firepower support. So I'm going for the heavy arrow rifle option, then taking a couple of either gun or shield drones to absorb damage, and I'm taking the seeker missile just for that little bit extra firepower support. I usually have a view of releasing those on turn 1 the target, so I've got them spread across the army and just let those go. Not dependent on marker lights now, which is good news. And I've been running the twin plasma rifle, but tempted to go smart missile systems with them. So broadsides at number 4, a much cheaper option, and some of the weaponry they have a real sting in the tail, and an improved profile here is more wounds to get through. Firepower's nice and reliable. You can protect them with drones to a pretty good degree as well, and well equipped one of these. If you, I don't know, you don't take any war gear, they're 75 points a time. I think for what you get is very, very good. But really, if you're starting your upgrades and weapon improvements and so on, it could be about 100 points a time. So I think they're pretty good value, and they can. That's not the unit that's going to win you the game, but the firepower support for them, you can set them up in a good position. Then I think they'll add a valuable contribution to the battle. They are a bit gun-liney type, so I'm sort of moving away from these to a degree, but they are proving popular amongst TAL players at the moment. They seem to be a well-equipped unit for sure. So that's number 4, broadside battle suits here, and particularly the heavy arrow rifle combo with those. Right, next up, a bit of a theme going on here. It's sort of shifting in this episode to heavy firepower support. Really, it's sort of that's the deciding factor really with the TAL. It's firepower, decent firepower support. It has to be that way with them. There is no psychic phase for them. You can't expect anything really in close combat. Yes, they're an army that can manoeuvre, but what are they going to do about it when the opponent gets close and so on? It's got to be firepower, and so your firepower needs to be deadly, and so that's the main emphasis here. I'm looking for units that can dish out nasty amounts of firepower. So number 3 is the Storm Surge here, which is a Lord of War choice. So Titanic unit will again give you an idea on points. So starting at 330 points, for what you get, I think that is a bargain really for what you're getting. Your upgrades then is the Pulse Blast Cannon, is just 10 points. Take that. The twin air bursting fragmentation projector is 5 points, and the twin burst cannon is 5 points on top of that. But really 330 points. I think it's very well priced here. So, Storm Surge, movement 8 across the board. It doesn't depreciate, so even if it's got 1 wound left, it's still going to move 8, which is interesting. Weapon skill 5+, ballistic skill drops. So 4+, 5+, then 6+. To get to the lowest bracket, you've got to have 1 to 5 wounds remaining out of 22, so it's not too bad. It'll take a fair bit of effort to get it down to that level. Yeah, and then between 6 and 11 wounds remaining is your middle bracket. Ballistic skill 5+. So again, Markerlight help, I think's very, very helpful. But there's some stuff built into this that can help it out. Strength 8, toughness 8, it's nice and tough. 22 wounds, there's tons of wounds on this thing. 3 attacks, leadership 8, and again starts off on a 2-up armor save. Very helpful. So it's equipped with the cluster rocket system, 4 destroyer missiles, the twin tower flamer, pulse driver cannon, 2 smart missile systems, drone controller, target lock, velocity tracker, and thunderous footfalls. It's absolutely armed to the teeth, this thing. So this is the kind of unit that you park on a home objective and just let him sit there for the game, just providing you with firepower support. So first up, cluster rocket system. Excellent weapon, range 48, fantastic range, heavy 4d6, it is blast, so horde units may well find themselves in big trouble against this thing. If you can max out the number of shots of that. 24 shots, if the target's large enough, strength 5, AP -1. Then you've got access to destroy missiles, you get 4 of them. The bearer can only shoot each destroy missile it is equipped with once per battle. Each time the bearer is selected to shoot, it can shoot with it cannot shoot with more than 2. So now you can fire 2 destroy missiles per turn, which is excellent news. Range 72, heavy 1, strength 12, which is fantastic for a missile, AP -5, and 2d3 damage. Doesn't bypass invuln saves, but still an excellent option. Pulse blast cannon. So the one that I usually go for is the pulse driver cannon, which is mentioned here. That's range 72, heavy 3d3. So a little bit random, but you're averaging about 6 shots. So between 3 and 9 shots for this thing. Strength 10, -4, 3 damage and blast. So yeah, it's okay. It's deadly enough, but I don't think quite deadly enough. So the other option is the pulse blast cannon. I believe in the previous codex the range used to be quite short on this thing and it put me off from getting it, and quite random. But now the range is massively improved, and for 9th edition with everything happening so much closer now, with both armies pushing forwards and the smaller tables and so on, then short range or shorter range isn't so much a big deal. But anyway, the ranges here are very sensible. So you've got 2 options, liking the diversity of this. So the focus shot, your opponent's going to love this, range 24, heavy 2, so it's crucial you get those hits. So again, I go tower, the ability for the reroll hit or wound. Markerlight help as well, come on reroll and standby, because if you get hits, it's strength 16, so 2s to wound a Ross for example, AP -4 and 12 damage, so it'll pop a tank with ease. Now it would pop a Bane Blade if it did well enough. It would do it, it would do it. Heavy, if you got your 2 hits, if you got your 2 wounds, you bypass the Bane Blade's armour and you dish out 24 wounds. I think Bane Blade's still at 24 wounds. So pop goes the Bane Blade with that. Fantastic. I think the focus shot used to be at range 12, but now it's range 24. That's fantastic. And then the dispersed shot option is range 48, so fantastic range, heavy 6, strength 12, -2 and 4 damage on that one. Brilliant weapon. So you got your counter-fire defense system option available, which we've covered already. So that can really help out. You know, some nasty shot coming through, you've got the ability to negate that with that stratagem. It will cost you 2 CP obviously on this thing, but that one's built in. And no, it's not. You can take it It's not built in. What's built in is the drone controller, target lock, velocity tracker, and thunderous footfalls. So, thunderous footfalls, by the way, it's not even worth mentioning really. Strength for the user, 8 minus 2 damage. We've only got 3 attacks. And that's the damage bracket as well, so it drops to 1 attack only. So close combat, just no close combat, just fire every turn and mind your own business. So counterfire defense system keyword, and then the drone controller is an option there. The early warning overrides, that's your 5+ Overwatch. Multi-tracker, 6 is popping extra hits for large targets, 6 more models. Target lock, no light cover, and then velocity tracker +1 to hit rolls. Probably a good option to go for that. Comes with it anyway. Comes with target lock anyway as well. So you can take the pulse driver and go for the pulse blast cannon. I would probably go for that with this one. The twin tower flamer. Now you can go for a twin air bursting fragmentation projector or 1 twin burst cannon. So don't see it. Might be under T, wouldn't it? Twin air bursting fragmentation projector. So it's range 24 assault, 2d6 strength 4 -1, blast weapon, and you can fire at targets you can't see. So yeah, useful enough. The twin tower flamer, 2d6 +4 shots, auto hits, strength 4 -0 damage. Range 12 though, but very good. With that one. And then the twin cover options take the twin burst cannon, which is assault 12, range 18, strength 5, AP 0, 1 damage. Okay, so those are helpful enough. And then model can be equipped with one of the following: an early warning override or storm surge multi-tracker. And then this model's velocity tracker can be replaced with a counterfire defense system. So tough enough choice on that one, whether to lose out on protecting the thing or getting +1 to hit rolls against flyers, depending on who you're playing against quite regularly, I guess. But it's a tough choice, that one. Some special rules here as well. So with the abilities here, so what you're thinking about is a unit that can sit on a home objective and just provide firepower support. Yes, it's a bullet magnet, but it's tough, loads of wounds. It comes with a Storm Surge Shield Generator, built-in 4+ invulnerable save, so excellent use. So tough enough, starting off on a 2-up save, fine. And even if it's just got a wound left and it's hitting on 6s, you can help it out with some, like your velocity tracker is going to help you out +1 to hit rolls, your marker light support and so on, so it can be doing something. So deploy anchors, it's an action. So at the start of your movement phase, any number of Storm Surge models in your army can start to perform this action. The action is completed at the start of your next shooting phase. You set him up in the movement phase, and then when you come around to shooting, it's ready. If this action is completed until the end of the turn, when you make a ranged attack, you can reroll the hit roll. Amazing, utterly amazing. Just reroll all your shots, just with that simple action. So play to his strengths, don't be manoeuvring around the board. Set him up where you think you'll need to go. Deploy your anchors and then just blast away for the whole game, and that's his job. You've got a walking battleship, so it can declare a charge in a turn in which it fell back. Yep, it can move over stuff and it explodes as well. But the Storm Surge, for its firepower, I think is fantastic. If it needs to move, then it can move, to try and get in range of that focus shot from the pulse blast cannon. You may well find situations where the opponent knows the range of that and tries to avoid, they stay out of range 24. But for as the current size of the battlefield, range 24 is a pretty good stretch for range these days. But it's a Storm Surge. I've put at number 3 here, one of the strong choices for the new Tau Codex. So these videos usually controversial. People have their own. They'll say, "Oh, why did you leave out this? Or why did you leave out that?" But it's sort of my own top 5 at this point. There are some honourable mentions which I'll talk about in a moment, but we'll cover number 2. So perhaps semi-controversial choice. Certainly would have been in the previous codex, but not so much now. Again, heavy firepower support. A different approach with this unit. We've seen a Storm Surge there with its large array of firepower. Now we're going to look at something that's different in its style, and that is the Hammerhead Gunship. And I guess you could combine this with Longstrike, which we'll take a look at him as well. In my previous list, I was running as Longstrike and then what I called Hammerhead number 2 as the sidekick to Longstrike. So 2 Hammerheads working together. They sort of helped each other out. Longstrike gave some abilities to the Hammerhead number 2. So I want to continue that partnership on, and it's certainly, most definitely, a powerful option to go for. So interesting one with the Hammerhead Gunship. So I'll look up Longstrike, who is a Hammerhead sort of HQ option to go for. So again, give you an idea on points. So your standard Hammerhead Gunship now is 145 points. It's taken a points reduction to great cost. Accelerator Burst Cannon 5 points. Time. The Iron Cannon is 10 points. Seeker Missile is 5 points each, and the Smart Missile System is 5 points. Then really, if you go for Longstrike, you're looking at 160 points, the same cost for upgrades. An extra 15 points to take the Longstrike option. It's cheap, really, and I think you're getting a bargain here. So I'll talk about the combo that I go for with Hammerhead Gunships. So we'll do the standard gunship first of all. So movement 12, so again, nice base of firepower, but mobile. Hit with these. It's a vehicle, so there's no -1 to hit rolls, some manoeuvring with them, which is good. Ballistic skill 4+, as standard, strength 6, toughness 7, 14 wounds. They've given it an extra wound, so it's more wounds than your average tank, and your standard 3-up save for this thing. So the standard loadout is the Rail Gun, and that's the main reason why this is at number 2. I've had the privilege to use Hammerheads in a game, and they just blew stuff off the table. It was ridiculous, and it was the Rail Gun that was doing it. So you've got range. I don't know if this is gonna. You have to keep an eye out if Games Workshop do change the rules on this, because it is ridiculously powerful at the moment. Range 72. This is a different approach to perhaps other tower units, where you're getting like 6 shots or you got multiple weapons. This is a one shot, one kill weapon. It's a different style. Love the idea of it, and really fluff wise. The Hammerhead Rail Gun is meant to be like the most feared main battle tank gun there is out there in 40k. So the Games Workshop have made it scary. It is meant to be scary, and it's meant to be scary as a one-shot weapon. So in the game there is that fear of you just get this one dice and you're watching it, and if you get your hit, if you get your wound, and so on. That's how it should be. Maybe it probably is too powerful at the moment, but we'll see what see what Games Workshop decide to do. So range 72, fantastic range. Heavy 1, so it's that one shot. That's why I'm going for Tau. So I get the reroll, the hit roll, or the wound roll. With that as my sept. Strength 14, which is utterly ridiculous. AP -6, which is again lunacy, and then D3 +6 damage. So between 7 and 9 wounds on the damage. Each time attack is made with this weapon, invuln saves cannot be made against that attack, so it's going to ignore invuln saves, which is absolutely mad. And then each time a successful wound roll is made for this attack, the target suffers 3 mortal wounds in addition to any other damage. So extra mortal wounds coming through on there as well. So really it's D3 +9 damage coming through. So it's the potential to one-shot your average tank. A tank that's got 10 wounds, which is like a Rhino, I believe, it's got 10 wounds, then you're going to one-shot it. If not, if it's 11 wounds, 12 wounds, then you're going to need to roll that D3, hoping you score high enough to actually pop the vehicle. But yeah, I don't know. I think there has been an element of shock with its introduction here with the new rules, but I think people will be able to adapt to it. I think if they I don't know. Try and pick the hammer heads off as quick as possible. The combination I go for is the smart missile systems. The whole idea that you can just pick on a target in range, whether you can see it or not, you can just shoot at it, keep the firepower going. Just love that idea. So smart missile system, range fairly heavy 4, strength 5, -1 and 2 damage. Yeah, 2 smart missile systems you have to pay for. The accelerated burst cannons though are pretty good. Down here, range 18, assault 8, strength 6, -1. So you get 2 of them. Yeah, 16 shots, fantastic. So that's good. You do have the option to take the iron cannon. So the iron cannon's okay. Range 60, heavy 3d3, so between 3 and 9 shots. Strength 7, -2, 2 damage. You can go for overcharge against your heavier targets. Same amount of firepower, strength 8, -2, 3 damage on this one. So yeah, it could really mess up a heavy target with that as well. You've got your seeker missiles, which I would add on. So on that turn 1, you just unleash your missiles across the board just to give your first turn firepower a bit of kick. And you can take 2 of those, and you can also take 2 gun drones or 2 accelerated burst cannons or smart missile systems. So, abilities. Targeting array. Each time this unit's hammerhead model is selected to shoot, you can reroll 1 hit roll when resolving its attacks. So now, if you combine that with Tau, that single shot with the rail gun, you've got a built-in reroll hit roll targeting array, and then you can save your Tau dice for your wound roll. And then if either of those are not required, you can spill those over into your seeker missiles. So again, Markerlight help to give +1 to hit rolls, very, very helpful. So definitely seeing the need for Markerlights, but a tank to be feared. And that main gun is excellent. It really is good. So that's him as standard. So then the bonus is 15 extra points. You get the hammerhead. I go for the same loadout, same as profile, but with long strike you get the extra ballistic skill. So starting on ballistic skill 3+ with him. And again, he's Tau Sept, so you're getting your reroll hit or wound combined with your targeting array. Reroll a single hit roll. So this is all looking good. It particularly suits that single shot weapon, the railgun shot. So what you get here as extra is Gunship Ace. So each time this unit's hammerhead model makes a range attack against a monster or vehicle, add 1 to the attack's wound rolls. Now you're on +1 to the wound rolls. So you're looking at 2s to hit. No, you're looking at 3s. 3s to hit. Markerlight help become 2s to hit. You've got a reroll on standby, a reroll to wound on standby as well, and then it's +1 to the wound roll also. And then you also get XVO2 pilot battle. So in your command phase, you can select one friendly Tau core or Sept hammerhead units. It doesn't have to be another hammerhead, it could be a core unit. There's loads of those to choose from. But I'm thinking hammerhead number 2, they fight alongside each other. You can bless the second hammerhead. Until the start of the next command phase, each time model unit makes an attack, the target is treated as having a Markerlight token. Fantastic, so +1 to the hit rolls basically with that. So it will bring up hammerhead number 2 to the same ballistic skill as long strike. I think that's well worth going for. If you're going to go for a second hammerhead, then you may as well just take long strike for the bonuses that he grants. So you have those two, you'll see those 2 tanks working together, and they just maneuver, overlap, move around and gang up on targets, and they swing out from behind buildings, then just pick off targets with their shots. No invuln save for these. Not the most durable targets, but they're durable enough with 14 wounds, so I try and semi-preserve them, keep them tucked around behind buildings, don't want the opponent bringing all guns to bear against them. Would like the hammerheads to survive for as long as possible. But the ignoring invuln saves, ridiculous. So long strike and the hammerhead, they make it in at number 2. So that's number 2. As honourable mentions then, just before I come to the final choice, there are other units that stand out as well that are very good. Piranhas, loving the Piranha fusion gun on that thing. Combine that with Tau, the ability to reroll hit roll or a wound roll. You know, the fusion blaster on that as standard is D6 +2 damage, or D6 +4 damage if you get within short range. Small little tank, it's nice and quick around the board. You can ambush them around the flank. So nice versatile little unit. I'm thinking I'm going to run some of those in my new list. So it's great to see Piranha's looking potent enough. No damage profile of that thing, so it's always going to fire on the same ballistic skill as well. I think you can give it Seeker missiles. Load it up with missile options as well. The other one's the Ghost Kill, which has improved. I used that in a recent game. For example, your Fusion Collider used to be heavy D3, very infuriating, very rare that you got your, at least in the games I played, it was very rare I got the full amount of shots, but now it's changed to heavy 3. So with high caliber weaponry, that reliability is very, very useful. And it's strength 9. So Ghost Kill, I do like the idea of the Ghost Kill for sure. And you can ambush with it, you can infiltrate and move up fast with it. Movement 12, nice and quick. As the Crisis Battle Suits, obviously all the different combinations you can do with those, honourable mention to them. You can build them any way you want, anti-whatever. And then also Commander Shadow Side, put down as an honourable mention as well, useful HQ choice for sure. But I have gone for, as number 1, agree or disagree, probably the main reason is the versatility of these. It's the commanders of the different shades you've got here. So you got your standard Crisis Battlesuit Commander, 6 wounds on him, or you can go for your Enforcer Battlesuit with 7 wounds, reduced down to movement 8, movement 10 on the standard Commander, or indeed you've got your Cold Star Battlesuit Commander here of movement 14, wounds 7 with him. It's the combos you can go for. I'd love to hear what combination you've come up with for your own Tower Commander. So Commander Ghosttide is mine. I was running the Quadruple Fusion Blaster, which is a little bit of an issue now because you get penalised if you take duplicate weapons. So I'm not entirely sure what my final loadout will be. I'm trying to be cost efficient, but at the same time the Quadruple Fusion Blaster is very reliable as far as the damage. It's scary the damage it can do. So for example, I couldn't even take 4 now, I don't think. It's up to 3. So the first Fusion Blaster is 15, second Fusion Blaster costs you 20, and then the third one costs you 25. So I was thinking maybe like double Fusion Blaster, double Plasma might work. I'm sure I've heard of lots of different combinations. There's all sorts you can go for. So you can go for long range firepower support, give him some long range weaponry. You can give him middle of the battlefield. You can manoeuvring, or you can Manta Strike him in with an ambush type weaponry. Or now there is the close combat option as well for these Tower Commanders. So some strong points then for the commanders. First up is their character. So you can bury them behind stuff. So vehicles can go in front of them and can shelter behind, or infantry they can shelter behind. It's hard to pick them off. That's a big strength. Next is the versatility. You can equip them, war gear them in all sorts of different ways of firepower. There's relics, signature systems for them as well. Warlord traits can be added on. So there's so much versatility. You can really come up with some great combinations with those. So that's another big reason for taking them. The other thing is there's no damage bracket. It's not going to depreciate down in damage. And another big reason for taking them is their excellent weapon skill of 3+, which is rare amongst the Tower, and ballistic skill 2+, very, very reliable as well. I can't cover everything with these, so it'd be great to hear your own combination. So if you are going to talk about combination you go for, which one do you take? A Commander, an Enforcer, or a Cold Star? What's your war gear loadout, firepower and other war gear systems? And then also mention signature systems, traits, Warlord traits and relics. What combination do you go for and why? What does he do? Whereabouts does he fight on the battlefield? And if you want to tell some tales already of some of the great deeds that have been accomplished, then by all means leave that in the comments section below. So with the Commander, you get Master of War, so set core unit within 6 inches. You get to reroll hit rolls of 1, so you can give some buffs and bonuses to units that are core nearby. And you also got tactical acumen. So in your command phase, you can select one friendly crisis core unit within 9 inches, and then you're at 2 options. Well, no, you get both. This unit is eligible to shoot and declare a charge in which turn in which it fell back. Fantastic. And each time a core unit model in that unit makes a ranged attack, you ignore any or all hit roll modifiers. So useful. Then you've got the Enforcer, who's a bit better equipped with his 2-up armor save and an extra wound. He gets hardened armor, so you expect him trouble. You get subtract 1 from the damage characteristic of the attacks coming through against him. Very, very strong. Resolute Firebase. In your command phase, you can select unfriendly set crisis core unit as they gain objectives secured, which may well suit your battle plan really well. And then Master of War, reroll hit rolls of 1. And then the Cold Star, he gets high altitude maneuver, so once for battle at the start of your movement phase, you can remove this unit from the battlefield. If you do so, then you get to deep strike back in. So it's okay. But you miss a phase. You're going to deep strike or remove from the board. You've got to wait a turn and then come back on your next. So you're losing a turn if you do go for that, but that's options there if you need it. You get it once per game. And then Master of War, whilst a friendly Sept core unit within 6 inches of this unit's Cold Star Battlesuit Commander, every hit rolls of 1. So then you've got aggressive tactics. In your command phase, you can select on friendly crisis core unit within 9 inches of the Cold Star Battlesuit Commander model. At the end of the turn, each time the unit advances, do not make an advance roll. It's 8 inches. Nice quick manoeuvring with him, or granted to another unit nearby. Very useful actually. So 3 commanders to choose from, configured slightly differently depending on what you want to do. You've then got the layer of war gear, weapons and upgrades and so on. You can then customize Warlord Traits, signature systems and so on. There's so many to choose from. I would mention a few. So I mean, this one here, Precision of the Hunter, ridiculous. Each time this Warlord makes an attack, you can reroll the hit roll and the wound roll. Utterly mad, because that's shooting and close combat. So just to auto take Warlord trait, but there's others there as well. You've got prototype systems, you do have to pay points for them, but they're like replacement, upgraded weaponry or unique bits of war gear. And then what I'm going to do is there's a new combo that I've come up with, like a character model that I've been thinking about in my brain, and I'm going to share the combo with you just to show you the sort of combination you can go for. And then you've got relics as well. So some of my favourites would be this one. I mean, incredible, the solid image projection unit. So this is just a relic. You do not pay any points for it, you just get the relic, add it on. Once per turn, whilst the first time a saving throw is failed for the bearer, the damage characteristic of that attack is changed to 0. So just negate that whole shot that comes through, whatever it is, could be damage 10, just changes to 0. And then the bearer gets a 4+ invuln save. And it's a little model, a little drone that hovers around with him. So you could easily build that customized build and just have this little relic drone that follows your command around. Just love the idea of that, so cool. So despite perhaps Games Workshop, you know, credit where it's due, despite Games Workshop obviously upping the power level here for the Tau, and we'll expect to see it in further codexes coming out, but as a codex itself, the layout, the rules, the options, it's an excellent codex. I really do think it's a brilliant codex. So aside from the complaints about the overpowering of it, which is true, but the actual structure of the codex itself and the rules and so on, fantastic. So that's one of the ones I like to go for, but there's so many others to go for here as well. So all really good. So instead of me going through all of these, you can take a few drones to protect, a couple of shield drones to follow him around, the marker drones, whatever you want to go for. So many drone options as well. So I had it written down as a, this is from my list here. Yeah, so this combination, I think it works out 165 points. It's not too bad in points cost. And what we're looking at here is a Cold Star. I was going to call him I was going to model the, I was going to go for the Cold Star, I think, model him, and then put like some damage across the front of his visor, across the front of his face, like he's been hit in close combat and taken some damage, and it's sort of the blade hit goes across the front of his face and gives him a scar, and then the blade hit comes down across part of his front body there as well, like he's been hit hard in close combat. And this Tau commander has been damaged in close combat in a previous fight, and then he has become vengeful and taken war gear equipped for close combat. So he's like this Tau commander but with an edge for fighting close combat, a sort of vengeful, begrudging spirit where he just wants to kill things in close combat. That's the idea, and he carries this scar that's a reminder of when he was almost slain in close combat. So I was going to call him Scar or something like that. It's kind of aggressive, down to earth, gritty sort of Tau commander. So as opposed to sort of an airy fairy jumping one, more of a I'm going to kill you type. I don't know, more of an aggressive in your face type commander. So Commander Scar, O-Scar or something like that for him. So Cold Star Battle Suit with that loadout, nice and quick around the board, and gearing him up to getting into close combat may come as a bit of a shock and surprise to the opponents. The way to go about doing that, I think, is to take, first of all I want him to dish out shots, because remember, if he goes into close combat, he can shoot whilst he's in close combat. I want him to be able to take advantage of two things. He does have the ballistic skill to hit well in shooting, so I want medium to short range firepower, and then close combat as well. So he could shoot some stuff, charge into something else, or shoot and charge the same thing, whatever he wants to do. So loads of versatility. So I would take and keep the high output burst cannon, range 18, assault 10, strength 5 -1 damage. Brilliant. I then add on top of that a Tau Flamer, so range 12, assault d6 plus 2 shots, also hits on the target. I then give him another Tau Flamer, so now he's kicking out 2d6 plus 4 auto hits for his shooting, plus the high output burst cannon. So you've got a target of 10-15 models, you flame them first, and then just hose down what's left with the high output burst cannon. So I'm loving the idea of that. And then because he's getting quite mean and into close combat, got to give him a shield generator. So give him a shield generator for a 4+ invulnerable save. So now you've got a commander who's nice and quick, anti-horde, lots of short, medium range firepower, and then durability added with his invuln save. So then take, yes. So I'd love to hear your own combination. I'm just giving you an idea of a combo that you can go for. I think I would run him as, so you could run him as Tau. He re-rolls a hit roll or a wound roll. That'll help him with his shooting and in close combat. So there's that to think about. I would then give him, now I give him a prototype system, which will cost 20 points. It's the thermoneutronic projector. So we're thinking about close combat. So Commander or Crisis model equipped with a Tau Flamer. So I've taken 2 flamers. They're going to swap out one of them for this. You get assault range 12. This is for shooting. Assault d6 plus 2. But instead of strength 4 -0 damage, it's strength 4 -2 damage. So brilliant. And you can also use it in close combat. So remember, he's got 4 attacks as base, but you get strength 4 AP -2 and 2 damage in close combat, which is excellent. He is hitting on 3s. But here, look at this. Each time the bearer fights, it can make d6 plus 2 additional attacks of this weapon. So you've got between 3 and 8 extra close combat attacks coming through. So all of a sudden, you've got a commander that can kick out tons of attacks coming through. So there's that option there. And then what about your base of 4 attacks? What are you going to do with those? So then you go to Relics, and you take the Onager Gauntlet, so it doesn't replace anything, and you get fighting at strength 12 -4 and 3 damage. So bonkers, that is. That's lunacy. And you could really catch an opponent off guard, because the mindset of people playing against Tau is there is no combat ability of Tau, and all of a sudden you could bring up this fast, durable, nasty commander, and then he just slams into a Lim Russ and kills it, which he could, because if you then go to Warlord Traits and use the Warlord trait that I've already mentioned, given precision of the Hunter, which fits the Scar type theme really well, you re-roll your hit rolls and wound rolls. That's for close combat and shooting. That's utterly ridiculous. The potential of that I mean, you're shooting, you're hitting on 2s, so your high output burst cannon, you're going to get 10 out of 10 hits most likely. You're auto hitting on your flamer and the projector, but then you're rerolling all your wounds, and with the burst cannon as well. And then when you slam into close combat, you're rerolling all your hits and your wounds on top of that as well. So it's mad. The other option is to take strength of conviction. I put down here. That could be. I'll tell you what that is. I think it's Tau Sept. Yes, here, strength of conviction. So 5+ feel no pain, if you really want to go for that as well. But I think the better option is to go for precision of the hunter. But there you go. You can take that, add a couple of drones to him as well if you so wish. But that's your close combat, mean, nasty commander with the Cold Star Battlesuit. And yeah, you've got a 14-inch move as well, so you've got fast manoeuvring with him and the ability to get stuck into close combat. More than happy to do that. And he should do quite well. So that's one of the options. So leave your own comments and suggestions. So that's this video finished. That's my top 5. Riptide first. Riptide at number 5. Then the Broadsides at number 4. Storm Surge number 3. Secondly is the Hammerhead / Long Strike Gunships. And then finally, for their versatility, speed, the buffs they can give out to other units, and the number of combinations you can go for, the commanders at number 1 is my best choice. You can build and configure them however you want. The model's beautiful as well. The Tower Commander model that was produced is a fantastic model as well. Beautiful kit that you can customize however you want. So I'm mightily tempted to get another Tower Commander. I usually sort of do each codex. I think I usually bring out a new commander, so maybe we'll go down that route. And I'm thinking of going for an aggressive close combat style commander, just for something a bit different with a nice strong theme behind it. But leave your own comments and suggestions. I'd love to hear your own top 5. If you agree with my top 5, perhaps there's ones I've missed out, then leave your own combinations and order that you think they should be in. And then for the Tower Commander, leave your own combos as well that can help out other Tower players, people getting into the codex, people coming back to the Tower, starting to collect the Tower and so on. Or even if you're an experienced Tower Commander, you can still pick up a few hints and tips from other Tower commanders, and together we shall expand across the galaxy, spreading our superior technology, and we shall be masters of war. And maybe the Tower will reign supreme on the channel once again. With this codex, that certainly is a possibility. That's the video. Keep a lookout for more top 5s on the channel. Check out the YouTube channel membership to unlock all the other content that's available, and join us over on Discord as well. And Goblin Gaming, follow the link below for discount 40k if you feel the urge to get a Storm Surge and to increase your Tau collection. Thanks for watching, and tune in.